On today's episode, I completely fangirl with Colette Baron-Reid. If you don't know who she is, she's an internationally respected author, artist, educator, spiritual intuitive, medium, and oracle expert, which of course I have to geek out on my two favorite decks. And I'm off to the store to buy more today, just saying. She is the founder of Oracle School, a global online learning platform with students in 35 countries where self empowerment, co creation, and ancient oracles meet in a modern, contemporary way. Colette is also the creator of the energy psychology technique Envision, the total mind shift process. Her newest book is The Art of Manifesting, a meditative drawing practice to rewrite your brain and create your reality, which she co authored with Anna Denning. We talk a lot about this book, and I'm going to try and get my hands on it so that I can do this with my friends at New Year's Eve instead of vision boarding. Colette is passionate on how to harness the extraordinary power of intentional art to rewire your brain, break old patterns, and align your mind and intentions with the energy of the universe. There are no special skills or tools required. Through the AM method, manifesting can be as easy, peaceful, and joyful as drawing a circle and lots of flowy lines. You'll hear us talk about all you need is a pen, a piece of paper, and your imagination to begin to co create a life beyond your wildest dreams. The universe will do the rest through the power of synchronicity. People, this conversation for me was so much fun. And honestly, I think I've found another lifelong friend. It was so beautiful to finally talk to someone that I do feel like I have had in my life for years, because I use a number of her decks, two very specific ones, and I take them all over the world when I travel. So she is a 5-1, of course she is, mental projector. And when we start talking about her human design at the beginning, it's so cool because you can watch her have that whole like, oh my God, you see me moment. It's just the best. Her incarnation cross is the cross of obscuration. And let's play this game again. I'm going to give you her dinner party question for her cross for you to go and journal on, because I know I will be. So the question is, what hidden truth is it time for you to hear? Love it. I'm going to let you enjoy this fantastic episode with an all-time freaking legend, Colette Baron-Reid. Enjoy. Hey, and welcome to today's episode. On today's episode, I'm interviewing someone, and I got to be honest, it's almost a little bit weird because this person, even though in person she's not been in my life ever before, I feel like I've carried her all over the world. She goes everywhere with me. So, Colette Baron-Reid, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm just getting a big kick out of the fact that you're in Australia and I'm in Canada and it's minus 20 degrees here and I'm in a sweater and you're like in summertime.
Yeah. I'm literally going to go to the beach soon. So,
love it. Oh, I have to come visit. I have so many people in Australia and my Oracle cards. Obviously, you have my cards, but yeah. And so anyway, and I love Australians. So here I am. I'm all
well. My projector friend, you have an open invitation to come to Byron Bay anytime and I'll take care of you.
Good. As long as we go to that spell store.
Yep, I'll take you to Spell.
Yeah.
There's so many places I'll take you. Don't you worry about that.
I'm so in. Shopping
you're sorted. Yeah, exactly. So I do want to start because there is a part of me that just wants to fangirl, because I've literally had this, like, you can see how worn she is. Like, I've taken her everywhere. And this one. So these are my two favorites.
Yeah,
I kind of feel like I'm jumping ahead. But when I first got this one, I'm like, ouch. Like, it felt like this one used to really kick my ass and she was a lot more gentle. And for those that are only listening, I'm talking about the Goddess deck and the Wisdom Oracle deck. Mm-hmm. And oh my God, the artwork in the Wisdom Oracle deck just blows my mind. But what I think is really weird and funny is that when I first bought it, and this is like, I'm going to say it could have been like 15 years ago. It could have been like
That
longer.
old, yeah.
And like I really felt like it was kicking me in the butt. Whereas now I'm like, it's so gentle and kind and sweet. So I'm like, whoa, I've really evolved as a human. Like,
But you just made a good point. So all my Oracle card decks, and I have 19 decks, are all about personal growth and transformation. That's why we use them. They're not really so much predictive tools, although they can be to a degree, but the best use of them is to track where you're at. And so when you are fighting against the flow of your life, or when you need to kind of up level, but the shadow content's still there, the cards will kick your butt. And I don't do fluffy bunny cards. Like, they're deep. All my card decks are deep. So they will evolve as you evolve with you. So you might not read that particular deck for a year and then come back to it, and it's a totally different experience. And you read things in it you didn't notice before. And thank you for bringing up the art. I worked with an incredible artist for many years. She's a digital artist named Jenna de la Gratalia. She now has her own decks. Like, I had to cut her loose because she was too talented. And so she and I are still best of friends. So she has her own decks now. She's fantastic, with an Australian publisher, by the way. So I'm glad I want to give her a shout out,
yeah.
because we were partners, and yeah, it was amazing. And I drove her crazy, though. I was like the worst art director. No, no, take that out. Put that in. Take it out. Boom, boom. But
But
we
you know
got
what I
what we.
love?
Yeah,
I
it's
love
beautiful.
you just sharing that story because I think that's one of the things that I love about your decks is that they feel like every detail has been attended to,
Oh, they
you
have.
know?
They did really.
Especially the wisdom of the oracle, like, and sometimes, and this just happened recently, I pulled a card and I saw something like kind of like a veil of something in the background that I'd never seen before.
Maybe
I'm like, whoa, it's so
so. You
deliberate.
probably just started noticing that there is a very transparent face in every card that you have to really look
Yes.
closely to see it. And so the oracle lives in each card. So there is an image of a face that is not too obvious unless you've worked with them for a while. So yeah, we made sure that was in there too. But yeah, all my decks are meticulous.
Oh, they're
Because I'm
so
just like that.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you are a mental projector. So, yes, you
I don't
are.
know
And you're
about
the
that.
cross. Well, yeah, you are the cross of obscuration. So, our incarnation cross, we talk a lot about. It's kind of tied into our purpose and why we're here on the world. And the cross of obscuration is all about revealing the truth.
Oh yeah,
Um, yeah, so it's like
makes
this
sense.
is the energy of someone who can see through the veil. You're probably the one that you'll be sitting around a dinner table or something, and you think it's just an innocent question, but you ask this question, and what happens is you're revealing a truth in some way that
100%,
people.
that's me.
Does that feel like it resonates?
Oh yeah. So let me ask you a question. So I know that people. I thought I was a splenic one. What
Yeah.
is the difference? What's the splenic one?
So the splenic projector means that you've got a defined spleen, and that's your authority. So your authority is your intuition. But as a mental projector,
Vector.
it means you have no definition below the throat. So actually, it means that you
Oh,
are
that makes sense.
constantly taking in, amplifying, and reflecting back other people's energy. So it's being a
Yeah.
mental projector, and all the mental projectors I know, they're like the super in tune with everything and everyone because they're literally feeling into everyone else's energy. And
That's me.
you make decisions actually. We talk about through a sounding board. So it can be another person, but it can be like you'll talk to your dog or you'll speak out loud. Or the whole point is that you have to talk things out loud. And then all of a sudden you'll hear something in your own tone and go, oh, that's
Yes.
it. Got it. Does that resonate?
Oh my God, I need to book a reading with you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, no one has ever explained that to me. So a
Yeah.
100% true. Like, I write music also, but I write with other people. My music career, even though it used to be my career, now it's a hobby. So I always have to work with someone else. And I like to have someone co-teach with me in my groups because I like to bounce ideas off. So I always need somebody to talk to, which is why I hate social media when I have to do these stupid videos by myself. I don't like doing them because there's nobody to talk to. I
Yep.
like to be on podcasts. I like to talk to people. I'm a partner person. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Oh, this is so exciting. I didn't really resonate much with the splenic thing.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that that's a big part of like your energy is always going to be, having someone else or something else to talk to is actually the way you hear your own truth.
Yeah.
So no wonder you love to be in that environment. But I mean, I feel like I've totally fangirled and jumped ahead. Are you looking to build a successful human design or astrology business? Do you wish that you had your own chart tool on your website so you don't have to send people somewhere else to get it? Bodygraph.com provides all the resources you need to turn this vision into a reality. We use this incredible software in our business to provide charts and custom reading reports at the click of a button, generate leads, and bring in lots of passive revenue. Bodygraph.com has already helped coaches and entrepreneurs generate over $2.5 million in revenue. If you're ready to take your business seriously, start with a free trial and use the code Human Design Podcast to get 30% off for 6 months. Here's what you can do with bodygraph.com. Embed stunning charts directly into your website. Build personalized lead magnets to grow your email list, create and sell detailed reading reports, and even use their free website builder to get started fast. Bodygraph.com is the ultimate all-in-one platform for building your human design or astrology business. If you're ready to join the community of successful entrepreneurs, visit bodygraph.com and start building your dream business today. Follow the link in the show notes and use the code Human Design Podcast to get 30% off for 6 months. So I do want to talk about the origins. I want to talk about, because I always say we get initiated into our purpose often through, maybe it's just the first dark night of the soul. Many of us have a number of dark nights of the soul. And that's this initiation into this journey of becoming, which is actually our purpose. So I'd love to kind of hear about the origin story and what brought you to being, the Colette Baron-Reid that creates all this incredible decks and books and things to help us grow.
Wow, great question and great comment. And everything that I teach is all about who we need to become in order to have the life we want to live, right? It's always about becoming. So I will tell you about the first dark night of the soul, if I will, right? So I can tell you that my entire life changed 40 years ago when I got clean and sober. So, but prior to that, I would say most of my life, I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. I was too in tune with everybody else. I didn't know where I ended and anyone else began. I picked up information that I shouldn't have, random stupid things. My friends used to call me 411. Go ask Colette, she'll know. The informational there. I find things like that were hidden in people's houses. It's just crazy. But I was also terribly anxious. My parents were immigrants, came to Canada. They were hardworking. They wanted me to be a lawyer. So they anglicized our last name. My father was Serbian. My mom was German, but she was actually Polish and French. And my dad was Serbian and actually Mongolian. And they came to Canada to build a new life with nothing. And so they put us in a private school, very waspy private school, changed our name. My dad supposedly had a title back in the old country when there was a king, King Peter. And to be honest with you, it's a baron in Serbia means that you have extra cows and pigs and you could pee off the side of a mountain. You know what I'm saying? But it sounded really good, because the Brits, they love anything that sounds like, ooh, the title.
Exactly.
So I think that was just a bullshit way my dad got us in all these places. But anyhow, so it doesn't really matter what environment or whatever, but I was built to not belong in so many ways. And so I was bulimic when I was very young, 14. I had felt I had no control over the world around me. I turned to drugs and alcohol very quickly. I was very smart. So I did well in school, other than the fact that my teacher would always tell us that we weren't Canadian enough. That was horrible. So there was a lot of things that made me feel that I didn't belong and that I wasn't supposed to be there, I guess. I don't know how to put it. Anyway, so I was very rebellious and I loved anything that I wasn't allowed. Motorcycles. I used to ride a Harley.
Love it.
I almost killed myself on Harley. So I was going to be hanging out with the criminals and the bikers and all this. And my parents
God.
were very, very, and I just wanted to rock and roll and run away. And I did. But 19, I was gang raped. I went to
Oh,
university and here's the thing, like I think about all the signs, but I really recognize that that was a form of an initiation today. So I don't consider myself a victim at all. Like I am, and I don't buy into that. Oh, I'm so traumatized, or I still have trauma. Like I'm like, work it out, girl. Like I recognize that I had to get that out of my body. I get it; it's in there. But I think I think that our society right now is way too sensitive. Like we're like, where's our backbone, for crying out loud? But anyhow, I know people might not like that about me, but I really, maybe it's my age. I'm 67 now. So, but that initiation was very painful. I ended up learning how to smoke cocaine, and that was great because I always say I took the express train into recovery. And I did a lot of things and I lost, I think I was spiritually bankrupt by the time I got clean and sober because I had done all the things that I thought I would never do or that only other people did. Oh my
yeah.
God, I'd never do that. But then I was the one that did that at least once, right? So, and I shot heroin and, I did all that. I just wanted to
Wow.
go. I wanted to get
Yeah.
away. And my favorite thing was acid and mushrooms.
Well,
Anyway,
that's fine for today.
yeah, the only good thing about any of that is that I never had a weight problem because I was always so thin, right? But anyway, so I got clean and sober 40 years ago, and that's when everything changed. That's when all of the work began. And that's when the path was shown. Now, I already had this ability since I was a kid. I could see things, I knew things about people, etc. But it didn't make any sense because just because you have an aptitude to see, to step through the veil, doesn't mean you're spiritually sound. And I really get that people call this the spiritual um, profession, but it's like no, spirituality is who you become. It's working on yourself, it's getting closer to your core, to what created you, to your ethics, your morals, your standards, your values, like all of that. And I've seen a lot of people with this great aptitude that are really fucked up. Sorry, I hope I can say that on
No,
here.
you can go for it. You go for it, girl. Yep.
And that actually do this work, that are really not clean, they don't have good spiritual hygiene. So I had to change, I had to clean house, I had to look at myself with clarity, and I was given a second chance, and I wasn't going to mess with it. It was like I was very lucky that I didn't die. And I even knew, and I felt this angelic presence. I hadn't slept or bathed for a week. I was in a drug dealer's basement. And I
Wow.
went upstairs and looked at myself in the mirror and finally actually saw myself as I really was. I mean, like the whites of my eyes were yellow. My gums were bleeding. Like I was so sick and thin. And, anyhow, and I really remember I said, oh, help me, but not the help me of get me out of this so I could do it again. It was like, I can't do this anymore. And I felt a presence and I heard it's over.
Oh,
And so I still used a couple more times because I was pretty stubborn. But I was planning on going into a treatment center and had one hoorah. It was crazy. It was like New Year's 1986 or 1985, actually, New Year's and December 20. And we were all saying, oh, Colette's going to treatment and all this, like one last hoorah, let's get a bag of blow. Do you know that I couldn't get high? I couldn't get drunk. I couldn't get nothing. No matter what I put in my system, nothing happened. And this presence was
wow.
like, it's done. You're done. You're just done. I have plans for you, kind of thing. So, so as I changed and as I transformed, all concurrently, three things happened. So I began a very, very distinct spiritual path that included recovery programs, and I started Cocaine Anonymous in Canada, in Toronto. At 1 year of recovery, because we didn't have it in Toronto, and I was a cocaine addict, and it was a very particular subculture. We thought we were so special and cool in the 80s. But anyhow, so I was very active helping other addicts. But I also went to Unity Church, which was the New Thought movement. So I was very much engaged in vision boards and using art and understanding how to communicate with spirit through a medium of creativity. And then I'd already started doing readings. Now, but I wanted to be a singer songwriter. So this was just my extra job. Like I was just, okay, and plus I had a huge chip on my shoulder because my parents were, oh my, you don't be a psychic. Oh my God. And back in 1986 or 88 is when I started the readings. This was fringe. We didn't have internet. We didn't have, there wasn't cool like negatives
Yeah.
now. Everybody has cars. Oh my God, no. Like you were fringe. You were seriously fringe. And you didn't want to tell everybody because they believed that you were a fraud or you were doing something or like you were a gypsy or something. Right.
Yeah.
So, but I was what I was. And I inherited it from my dad. Right. And he was like that too. So,
Wow.
but anyway, so the dark night of the soul led to an awakening that all culminated in these things, in these paths that intertwined that became my entire body of work.
Yeah.
While I was trying to quit, telling people, oh, I don't really do this. I'm really a singer. Don't come back next year. I'm not going to be here doing this. I'm going to be a rock and roll. I'm going to have a, blah. And I didn't get the record deal until I didn't care about it anymore 20 years later when I literally didn't care. But
Yeah. Wow.
yeah, like there was something that I couldn't deny. And I knew this was my path. It picks you. Your purpose picks you.
Yeah, I love that. And because I have the same relationship with human design, like 2 times I came to it, I'm like, nope, like the language is too negative. I think the second time, I've always been very spiritual, but I was very closet spiritual. And I'm
Right.
like, I'm not really sure I'm prepared to take this to my CEOs and leadership teams. And I actually had a moment where after a huge transformation in my life, healing mental health, like all of this stuff, and sort of saying to the universe, there's still something missing. Like, I need you to tell me, like, be so obvious.
It's so obvious. I
And
asked for the
basically, it
report
hit me in
too.
the face, right? It hit me in the face with human design. I'm like, shit. Like,
Right.
okay, so I see that you've bought it a few times and now it's my thing. So I think it's really interesting. I even feel like I've been doing this for, a number of years now, but I almost feel like I'm at that next level. Like, oh no, like I've really got to double down on this thing because I know it's helped me and it can help others. So I totally get where you're coming from.
Well, that's really interesting that you're at that now because we are at the end of a 9-year cycle,
Yeah.
right? And we're going into a 1 year, and human design has become quite popular again, and it's complicated, right? It's a complex system, but I think people are much more open to it now. It's almost ubiquitous that there are all these different processes that we can have. But what I like about human design, because I'm a total nerd, is it's smart. Like it's interesting, and there's so many pieces of it. And like that was an undeniable statement that you made towards me in the beginning. I'm like, wow, the chart that I had was wrong. Like, oh, this is cool. Right. And we want to know, like, how can we, because we're all made to be emissaries of like consciousness, of the divine consciousness that uses
Yeah.
us to express itself in form. Right. It's just we're made a specific
Exactly.
way. I know I'm a weirdo, and that's fine. And like the human design chart
You're
proves that
perfect weirdo.
I'm a perfect weirdo.
We're all weirdos, right?
Right. And it's like, but I like it now. But it's like, this will help people, and it will. And people are ready for it, Emma, now. So this is a
Yeah.
perfect time for you to be saying it. You know what? I can be seen now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also,
It's
like, what are we
definitely,
done? Are we bored with cancel culture now? Like already? Like, is
yeah.
this the most boring subject of the whole planet now? Like,
Exactly. And you know what? Like, I know for me, I'm 50, I've got 2 kids. I, finally finalized my divorce this year. Like, I'm like, I do not have any shits left to give,
right?
Like,
No shits left
I'm
to
all,
give.
exactly. I'm just like, okay, let's do it. But let's talk about Oracle cards. I'm going to share a little bit about my journey and then I just want you to
Sure.
like riff in your projector beauty. But I remember being young, and so I'm Piscean. I've always been really intuitive, but kind of didn't know, again, very closeted. And I was always afraid of oracle cards and
Yeah.
especially the tarot. Like I was terrified. And I think when I first started, and I can't remember what my first deck was, but I've got to say the Goddess deck was one of my, it's got to be up there with one of my favorites. Do you remember what year it was done, published?
2018, I think.
Oh, no, then it must have been a long time before that. But
2017. It could be
I
2017.
must have had another deck that was yours that was beforehand. Anyway,
2015. Well,
yeah,
before that would
maybe.
have been Wisdom. Well, my deck started publishing in 2006.
Okay.
So I had the Wisdom of Avalon. Then there was the Guides of the Hidden Realms. Then there was the Enchanted Map Oracle. Then so there's been lots. So I'm
They're
sure you
so
have.
cool. So I suppose, and look, I think I have like 30 different decks now. And I've one girlfriend in particular that every time I see her, she's like, "Here, I bought you a new deck." I'm like, "Thanks, babe." Like another one for the suitcase to get the suitcase home. But so let's talk about Oracle cards. I've got a really cool story I want to share in a little bit, but let's talk about how do we work with the cards? How do we actually get the most out of ourselves and the cards when working with Oracle cards?
So I can only talk about my Oracle cards because there are some people who make Oracle cards that are for just a thought of a day. And there are some people, mine are true divination systems because my background is in divination. I can consider myself a bit of an expert in that I've been totally nerded out for many, many years on ancient divination systems. And all of my decks are based on a specific lexicon or vocabulary that is a derivative of a number of old systems that are cross-cultural that have a universality to them that does not engage only in culture like that is distinct to a person's culture, right? So it's not, so there's elements of the I Ching, which is Chinese but very ancient, but the structure of the I Ching, the fact that it's it's an evolutionary process, the tarot, but not the, because the tarot is medieval and it has medievalism in it, and it has like the negative, the scythe and from the plague, and then it has like the death and then being shut out of the church, the Five of Pentacles. Like there's a lot of imagery in there that's quite very medieval. It's very true to the medieval times, right? So, but there are elements in the structure of it. It's a fixed system that really works. The 78 cards, they work. But there was qualities of the tarot that I borrowed from. Believe it or not, bird augury that is so old. It's Roman, it's ancient, it's Greek, it's Roman. Some of from the classical European, that they looked at systems of symbols. And my dad taught me how to read Turkish coffee cups, which from Serbia, right? So it's all the different symbolisms and things like that. So I kind of mushed them all together and thought, what could be a modern way? Because I started realizing that the tarot wasn't doing it for me anymore. And so I thought, like, what kind of a thing could I make as a second opinion deck? So that was going back 36 years ago, right? So I made it with stickers on playing cards. And what I
Wow.
wanted it to reflect was the evolution of transformation, like thus the change of transformation of the person using it. So my decks are all used for personal transformation. You are asking with, and again, each deck has its own personality, but every single one of my decks comes from the same. I think you could talk about like a sourdough starter or a yogurt starter. It's all got the same. And then I expand it from there. Like the main thing that, and every card has to work together. So in a divination system, you are asking for higher guidance, but what you're asking for is understanding. Show me what I need to know about this. Where am I now? What am I not seeing? What is my next right action? Where am I heading in terms of project, like say from a particular point of vantage, but not what's going to happen. My cards are not built to tell you what's going to happen. They're there to show you the energy of the flow you're in, and you can learn and say, ooh, okay, this may not be the lesson I want to learn, but maybe I will learn something since it looks like I'm going to have, I'm in a situation right now that feels a bit rocky. So it brings us into a sense of agency and empowerment, right? Because oftentimes oracles, tarot readings create a passive quality where the person is reading you, are reading at you, telling you your life, which is how I started. And I was very good at it. Where you don't have any activity at all and you're just the person is telling you what they see. And that's fine. But when you work with my cards, that's not what you're doing. You are an active participant in partnership with divine forces that's going to tell you what you need to know about where you're at. That's how you work with my cards. And you have 19 decks to pick from of my cards.
Yeah, well, I'm like, dude, I need to go and get some more. But so I've got a couple of stories for you because I love what you just said and I need to respond to it. So this one, which is the Goddess deck,
Yeah.
this one literally opened me up to the divine feminine because I was one of those women that was really stuck in my my masculine, and literally those cards have really helped me. And it was, yes, the readings themselves, but they also, sparked curiosity about all these different goddesses. So I actually have a second deck of the goddesses that I've bought that sometimes I'll put in a card that I send to someone. I use them as bookmarks. I it's like I use them a lot. And as I said, the Wisdom of the Oracle deck, which I'm going to just show everyone again, this one, which, oh my God, the artwork.
And by the way, I teach with that deck. My Oracle school, which is a school for personal transformation, we use that as our primary tool. So it's a navigational tool to track your life and to use it as a flashlight to see what in the dark, to use it as a GPS to make sure you don't get lost, to use it as a shovel to go deeper, to use it as a ET phone home to talk to the divine, and as a communicator. So it's a multifaceted device. That particular deck is the one that I teach with and has sold 500,000 copies.
You know what's crazy? So I've got to tell you this story that happened to me because I've told all my friends. It's one of my it's probably my favorite Oracle deck story ever. So it's this year, 9 year. Like I've got a lot of shit going on. And I feel like every day I pull a card, I get some form of, something like you've got this, or the light will come out soon, or so I'm getting this constant, like, I just need this little like touch base of it's all going to be okay. Then one day I pull a card and basically the theme of this card is something like it's been uncomfortable and it's not done yet. There's something else uncomfortable coming, right? Yeah.
Unfinished business, yeah.
Okay. And I put the card down and I literally like go, fuck, get away from me. And I freak out. I'm like, oh no, I can't handle it. I'm like, so I'm like, that's it. I'm not pulling any more cards. And then something in me goes, pull 3 more cards. And I'm like, okay. And I'm guided to pull like from 3 different decks.
Right.
So I pull 3 cards from 3 different decks, and every single card basically says, stop giving your power away.
Right.
Because in that moment, like the deck literally schooled me in stop relying on me to tell you you're okay. I'm here to help and guide and support. And I was like, what the fuck? You cannot make that shit up. No. And I'm like,
that's actually our motto in Oracle school is you can't make this shit up.
Yeah, I love it. We say it all the time in our community, like, because you can't. It's crazy.
Right. I'm glad you said that too, because I'm pretty adamant. Like, and when I used to do readings professionally, because I retired many years ago to work on my schools, the various schools I have, but I would not take a person if they went to too many readings. Like I say, how many readings have you had? Well, you're my 5th one. I went, then you can't have one.
Yeah.
Because this is Oracle abuse. You're giving your power away, and I will be harming you.
Yeah.
To do this, right? And I'm going to be actively encouraging you to give your power away. So you have to wait a year to come. I had a strict rule. You weren't allowed to come to me more than twice a year. And if you came the second time and you were all a kerfuffle because you had all kinds of readings, I'd be like, go home.
Yeah.
Because I think that this is another thing. People come to both subjects of manifesting and oracles for certainty and control. And that's an unconscious motivation. We're not conscious of it. So for example, I always tell people in my Oracle Cards 101 class, you're saying like, what's going on? What's happening? And am I going to get what I want? That's really, that's the 3 motives, right? Am I going to get what I want? Like, tell me what's going on, what's going on, what's going to happen, and am I going to get what I want? Right. So, and that's okay, because I think we have to acknowledge that uncertainty has been rampant. And over the past 6 or 7 years, we've been in a tremendous amount of stress. Like, there's a stress response it's unhealthy, and we weren't built to have this. So it's natural, and of course that's why oracle cards are so ubiquitous now. Everybody makes them. Everybody, like, it's crazy how many are on the market now, because people are like, oh yeah, I got to make them too, because now it's like this free for all of like, okay, we've got this technology, here it is. And now they're going to do it with AI, so nobody's going to buy cars. So
Yeah.
it's the giving the power away piece. So I'm saying it's okay that you start there, but let's ask a different question now. Not what is reality going to show up as? How can I co-create that reality?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what can I learn? What is being shown to me? And then, oh, instead you go from trying to predict the future to creating the future. And so
Mm.
the way I want people to use my cards is as a co-creative tool and it's great to know that you can look and say, this is going on. So I'm in a bit of denial and I didn't want to see this, but this is what's
Yep.
happening today. I get it. Okay. And then we do one card a day, and then I'll pick a clarity card, but ultimately it's to navigate. And it's also like going to the intuition gym. You're using, you're at the gym, you're pulling the weights. Oh yeah, the card. Okay, great. Yep. Got it. But you don't give your power away, like, because it's unhealthy and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
You won't get what you think you want. You'll be pissed off at those cards after, especially if you want something and they're telling you, well, no, maybe not, because then you're going to put the cards back until you get the one you want. So that's oracle abuse.
Yeah.
But everybody goes through it in the
Yeah.
beginning. So I tell people, okay, when you are ready to admit that you are powerful enough, you can't do it all yourself. Like, I can't. The spirit or the conscious universe can with me, right? If
Yeah.
I can turn this over, I can do my part, which is dreaming and imagining and receiving. Then I got to turn this over in this partnership, and my oracle cards are built to show you how to do that, right? So then you're very empowered, and you're like, wow, look what I'm creating, as opposed to, oh, what's going on? I better ask.
On that, I think one of the things that I've been curious about in the past is when we pull cards, that difference between ego versus intuition. Like,
Right.
I know, like, I'm really good at just pulling a card and saying, like, what do I need to know today? Just tell me what I need to know today. But I know in the past, I was very like, well, actually, there's a part of me that's like, ouch, yeah, because that's the thing I don't want to admit is my responsibility. And actually, it means this. So, how do we really dial into the intuition that it's trying to
Yeah.
like the thing it's trying to teach us versus our ego?
So that's a great question. So the ego is like a liar. All right. So it feels different. It's an embodiment. Like, intuition actually plays us like an instrument. So we hear the plunk and it just is. We just know, right? When it's ego, there's effort, right? It's like when you have to lie to somebody, you have to come up with something. Like, I'm a terrible liar. I'm like Pinocchio. So, but it's like, and then all the effort to keep it going, the
Same.
story and all that. So that is what the ego feels like. And it also feels like you're getting high, because it feels like you're having power over, like, I'm going to control and have power over. It's that feeling when it's like, I got something over on you. Whereas intuition is just like, okay. So intuition feels like a plunk, and you can
I
actually
love that.
test it. Yeah, it's just plunk. It's boring. Blah. It's just like
Yeah.
splat.
I love that. So,
Right?
and you're so right, because I know it's that whole, like, an intuitive hit is just that instant, oh, I know something that I didn't know a second ago. There's no thought
Right.
pathway. But what did you just say? You can test it. How do you test it?
You can test it. Okay, so you do a fun exercise. Actually, it's fun to do it with a friend. So you tell yourself the truth about something, like, you know, for sure this is an absolute truth. And when you say that truth out loud, but you can do that by yourself and let your listeners do it, like 100% out loud, like, my name is Colette Baron-Reid, and I know that's true. But if I say, and I'm 120 pounds, that's a lie. Okay. I'm like more like 150. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, or like, you know what I mean? It's like when you lie about something, it's got some
Yeah.
other substance to it. So it feels very different. Like, how does that feel in your body? So you can actually ask yourself, what does it feel like in my body when I say that lie? It feels like the ego.
And it's crazy, isn't it? Because it's really simple. It's really simple. We just
So
overcomplicate
simple.
it. You know, that the difference between the two. I love that. So I want to talk about your new book, The Art of
Okay.
Manifesting. I feel like you are, you know, all the decks and all the books, and you are just a force of nature. And in human design, your profile, so you're a 5-1 profile, this is the one that I would say most of the guests, not most, but the most common profile I interview is the 5-1, because all the
Yes.
5-1s I know, the moment they find the thing that they're here to do or who they're here to be, they're just like they're unstoppable. So it's no surprise that you've created so much in the world, which is super cool. So tell us about the art of manifesting.
So, okay. So remember I talked about when I started this whole spiritual journey, it was 40 years ago. So I started doing vision boards that I learned through Unity Church. They were called treasure maps about manifesting, about co-creating something with God, with spirit, whatever your language is, right? So I always had some type of artistic collage or something that I could focus on and hold space for, etc. So I would make these boards every year. I did make a living as an artist in the 80s. I painted on people's clothing. You know, so art was always a part of my life, but then I gave that up and I had music. And, you know, so art it, as itself only returned to my life in terms of visual art during the pandemic because I suffered from a lot of anxiety. And so the only thing that could help me escape was painting. So I took a painting class, didn't finish it. It was just sort of like, and then I downloaded all these beings that actually became the art for my newest deck, Guides of the Hidden Realms. But I was in front of a canvas and then I broke my foot. So I couldn't stand in front of a canvas, right? So I had to sit and I was always interested in line art and also in, you know, neuroaesthetics and just really art therapy in turn because it really changed my life to do art again. And I realized, wow, I should have been doing this a lot longer ago because I was in such a flow state. So I started taking classes online. I went, and one of my favorite classes was a class for 7-year-olds. Like there's these doodle art for 7-year-olds. And then I went down a rabbit hole on, I had been very interested also because I'm a total nerd on quantum physics, but also on neuroscience. Like I want to know how what makes us
Oh my
tick.
God, I'm so with you. Love
Yeah, well,
this.
you and I are going to be friends.
Yeah,
We're announcing that to
just
the world.
declare it. It's done. Yeah.
Declaring Emma and Colette, new best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Done.
okay, so I'm curious about all that shit, right? So I go down the rabbit hole, and I'm one particular artist that I loved. His name was Greg A. Dunn. In 2011, he quit his job as a neuroscientist and became a fine artist. And he drew neurons, and I'd always doodled like that. I'm like, ooh, that's cool. But I'd always done similar line work and did, you know, trees and thickened lines and did all that stuff. Like, because I'm a doodler, right? And I always doodled eyes, like stuff like this. I'll show you, you know, stuff like this. This is actually probably a thinking thing.
Oh,
But, you know, I'm
wow.
just, it's just
Oh my
pen
God,
work.
I'm like in the process of designing a tattoo. I want your help.
Oh, I'll totally help you. I love it. You can actually have this. This is like the universe is looking. Okay. So anyhow,
Oh my
wait.
God.
So I wanted to do some line art, and because I couldn't stand up, I had to sit down and do it. Anyway, then I saw all this neuroscientific stuff about the neuro arts and all about, you know, this multifaceted conversation about how arts of all kinds, sound design, because I'm also a singer songwriter, sound, dance, and art, how important it is for neuroplasticity, that it works for Alzheimer's, because I was always worried about Alzheimer's because my dad had it and I have the two genes and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is so cool. So I also know that what we focus on, that it's a big component of manifestation, is what we rehearse internally, because the reticular activating system of our brain is the bouncer that decides who gets into the party, right? And then what you see outside. And there is a link between those two things. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool to put the manifesting conversation with the art conversation? So I met this woman online who was teaching a particularly, I didn't like it. It was a Russian kind of different type of neuro art, and I liked Zentangle, but it was hard for me to do because it was repetitive, and I'm too crazy. I can't repeat things. So anyhow, but she had a membership, so I didn't like the one thing, but I loved her membership because she was like very free flowing. And so it turned out after a while we got to know each other. I got a book deal because I started teaching people how to do it. And so I asked her, would you like to write a little chapter about this other thing that you teach? But then we both found out that we were doing stuff with our paper, that we were putting Reiki on the paper. We were both Reiki masters, and we had all these things in common. And I went, shit, we need to teach people this part. So I said, let's do it together. So it was like so effortless. And so there's a 7-step process. It's because, again, really, like, there's a million paths, a million line artwork out there. You cannot say you own a circle and a wavy line, right? It's like hamburgers. Like, you can't trademark a hamburger, but you can have a recipe. You know what I mean? So, because
Yeah,
there's lots
exactly.
of different things like Neurodoodle and Zen Doodle and Zentangle and Neurographica and, like, all kinds of neuro arts, right? So it's a big subject. So ours is very specific to our recipe, right? How do you talk to the universe through this simple doodle technique? And it works. That's the other thing. So we tested it. It was freaky. We were like, oh my God, this is freaky. So we're like, we got to teach people this. So anyway, the book came out. And now I'm going around teaching people how to do it. And now I have a friend in LA, and she started buying people books, and they're having parties now. Like, all these women are getting together and using botanical paper they do their drawings on them, their doodles, and then they plant them. And then they see wildflowers come up. So you actually put your manifestation in ground. So it's all symbolic of how we create the reality. But the most important thing
Wow.
is that you start to see synchronicities, and that's the point. So every year, for years I've taught a vision board challenge. Last year we had 60,000 people at it through Hay House, and so I started teaching this new way to vision board. I said, listen, when none of us ever put in the synchronicity piece, if you really look at your vision boards and how they showed up for you, do you think you did that? Like, how did it come? It came through coincidences. It came through synchronicities. I said, so we need a big ass border for the zone of synchronicity. We need to give that over. We have to make space for that. So that's kind of how this evolved. And so you basically say, okay, I know what I think I want. So I'm going to put that here, but I'm going to surrender that. Like, this is what I think I know. And this is the motive behind it. This is how I want to feel. So I'm going to rehearse the feeling state over and over again, but I'm going to surrender the form to you, and you're going to surprise me. And it is uncanny. Like, the stuff that happens is outrageous. Like, outrageous stuff happens. Like, but the point is, it's not the outcome. The point is that the universe listens to us and is always responding and reflecting back to us what we rehearse.
Mm.
Always.
Oh my
That's
goodness,
the
I love this. It's so good.
yeah.
And it's so interesting. I know my own personal journey is that I've got to that point where I know how I want to feel, but I'm
Yeah.
like, freaking surprise me, like
Yes.
I don't want to be like the white knuckling the steering wheel. I want to be like,
No.
I want to know my highest potential, my highest timeline, but I don't need to know the fucking details. Like, bring
No.
just encourage me to grow and evolve. And I love the idea of being surprised and delighted.
Yeah. Like, the other, like, and you'll get some fun things. Like, one of my favorite stories to tell is when so when we were testing it and the book was coming out, I admitted to myself, like, I've never had a New York Times bestseller, and I never cared, to be honest, because I was very niche. So, but this is the first time I think this could be that good, right? Like, I want everybody to do this. So I visualized, I was sitting in my hot tub. I call it my cauldron of magic, and I'm
Love
visualizing
it.
a New York Times, and I see New York Times in the, and I go in the house and I draw it and I put New York Times. I call my brand manager and say, guess what I did? She goes, what? I finally admitted. I think I would like to manifest a New York Times bestseller. Ha 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 ha. We'll see. Surprise me. And we left it and we both just laughed. And then 2 hours later, my publicist writes me, the New York Times would like to invite you to New York to teach. Like, if I was, to meet them so that you could present your book to their staff. So it
Oh
wasn't a
my,
New York Times bestseller, but I'm going to the New York Times. And I went and told them as soon as I got there, I'm like, guess what I did? I manifested you. And here's how. And he was like, wow, because your book was on my desk. And I decided right at the same time that I was going to contact your publicist. Like, why not? Let's meet her. So I'm going to be doing it
wow.
February, right? So it's not a New York Times bestseller, but it was the right match for me. Like, it was
Yeah.
this, like, yes, it was New York Times, but I could let that all go. It was like, wow, this is so cool, because the motive behind getting that wasn't to be famous. It was to share this message with as many people as I could. So, like, right now we're going to train teachers and we're doing teacher trainings. We just want people to go out and teach it. Right. And like, teach it to kids, teach it
Yeah.
to people. Go out. So I got exactly the correct match that was right for me. Right.
Oh, and I think that that is such a powerful lesson for us all to learn, like, because I often, in my moments of Piscean contemplation, I'm like, surely the universe just puts this inspiration in my head or in my heart, like the New York Times bestseller. Like, the universe is like, yes, you think it's all about being a bestseller because that's the thing that happens in, on earth type thing. But
Sure.
you wait, babe, it's going to be something else. It's like they put the spark, it puts the spark,
The
but
spark was the New
then
York
our
Times.
mind gets attached to
That's
it.
right. And so it was,
Yeah.
and
I love that.
in a weird way, I think that happened just so I could tell people the story, because it illustrates exactly what we're
Yeah.
talking about in the book. Like, you may not get that, the thing you think it is, but to me, that was even cooler. Like, I'm going to teach it to all these people in
Yeah.
their staff who want to come and want to learn this thing. And that to me was like, wow. And even if one person in there got it only, and they liked it enough to share it with their friends, that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Right. It's, the book is going to get, I
Exactly.
know it's
And it's
an
that,
organic thing.
yeah.
Sorry.
And it's that beautiful thing of like, there was that, that we can perceive that to have a New York Times bestseller is the best way to get the message out. But to be able to actually teach it, in a group of people, and the ripple effect of that, like, that could be huge, you
Why
never know
not?
how big that could be, So
But does it, here's the other
exactly
thing. Does
right.
it have to be big? Like, I think that
Yeah,
you get,
true.
do you know what I mean? It's like, that's big enough. Like, right now for me, that was big enough. Like, I don't, beyond that now is in the hands of the universe. Like, surprise me. Remember you said that at the beginning, like, too, like, surprise me with the
Yeah.
rest of it, but it's already good. And so what we show people too is if we can get stupefied in gratitude, it's telling me I have a funky, my internet's
Yeah.
fine. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Okay, it's going to record. So if we can get stupefied in gratitude, we have this process where we draw tiny little bubbles, and all we do is say thank you, thank you, thank. Oh my gosh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
We do that for a solid 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You are high as a kite on gratitude. That's an elevated emotion, the way Joe
Yeah.
Dispenza teaches it. That's a way that your RAS, your reticular
Exactly.
activating system, this is important. Oh boy, that this feeling is real. Now we have to
Yeah.
show evidence. that the outer world matches that, because we are connected to that outer world. We are not separate from it. We are the
Yeah.
abundance we seek. We
Yeah.
are all of the things. We are that. We are that. It's wild.
Yeah. And you know what I love is, again, this topic, and it comes up so often, is we've been so conditioned to believe that we're separate, and we're so not separate,
Yeah.
like we are all connected, and we're not only connected to all the other people, we're connected to the planet, to the animals, to the quantum, to the universe,
Yeah.
like, and to play in that magic and let go of the ego and the need to control and just go along for the ride. Like, that sounds magical. It sounds simple. It's not easy.
Not easy,
But
because
yeah.
we will fall asleep at the wheel. And I always say that it's not, it is very simple. It takes discipline. And sorry, my dog is now snoring on my lap. But now it's like
It's so
you're
funny.
going to fall asleep at the wheel, and you're going to forget, and you're going to compare yourself. For God's sakes, look at what we look at every day on Instagram and whatever, all the curated bullshit stories of people's fantastic lives. You know what I mean? And doctored
Yeah.
images and
Yeah.
shots and God knows what else we're supposed to take now to make ourselves beautiful and whatever. It's, and not to,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's really more just about more reasons for us to control ourselves somehow, and it's like that, that
Yeah.
can wear down on us. It's like, well, gosh, I mean, wow, look at that. I don't have that. I'm not that. And we will fall prey to that. So my thing is, that'll happen. Give yourself a hug, be kind to
Yeah.
yourself, be compassionate, and get back on again. Just know that will
Yeah.
happen. And we will be struck
Yeah.
by lightning some days, right? And there could be a
Yeah.
war that
Yeah.
overrides all this. Because I'll tell you, if you're right in the middle of a war, you're not worrying about what you're manifesting. You're wanting to make sure that you're safe.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
life, the
Exactly.
full catastrophe of life is going to happen. But why not do this too?
Yeah. I love that. And I love it. Like, why not do this too? And I think that, I know for me, like for 2026, my words are fun and adventure. Like
Ah,
it's really important just to have fun. It's been a crazy few years.
mhm.
And, we know through, behavioral science, we know that we learn better when we're playing, when we're having fun.
Yeah,
And I think that we are at this time where we've all been striving for so many years, whether we're people like us that are breaking them down the old to create something new, or just other people that have, like all of us, been conditioned just to struggle and push and shove.
yeah,
And I think the biggest piece now is, we are, like I always say, our purpose is to be ourselves, to be our most authentic self.
right.
That's your purpose. And the more we can kind of lighten up and have fun, and as you said, like, appreciate that you will go back to sleep, or you will play out your conditioning, or you will get it wrong or fall down, and that's okay. That's part of the
Yeah.
journey. Yeah,
Yeah, it is just,
love it.
who else is this? Another Australian who I absolutely love is Alana Fairchild. Have you had her on your show?
I haven't at all.
Oh,
No.
you got to have her. You
Yeah.
would love her. I'm going to tell her. I'm going to tell her about you.
Yeah, please.
She's
That would be
she's she's
amazing.
she's I think she's the most prolific oracle card creator in the world. I think she has more than anyone. But she's very much about like the creative and the goddess and the being authentic and being, like, and I know she does dancing and music too and stuff. There's a quality that we need to pull on again, and get out there, because we've been so linear, and even now we're
Yeah.
seeing, like, oh, I just want to say one thing. So when we see these changes, because we know upcoming, I want to give a shout out to Australia for getting kids off the internet until they're 16. I
Ah,
understand that's going to be a big, terrible thing for a lot of kids are going to be angry, but I think it's one of the best moves is to get social media away from kids and let them go play outside and get fresh air
yeah.
and surf and do things and meet each other face to face, etc. I think that is, if our world could reclaim some of that humanity, because we're losing it, right? So
Yeah.
so we have to have learn what fun is again. How are you going to have fun just staring at a machine all the time,
Yeah. I
right?
love it.
Yeah. So anyway, I just went off track,
Yeah, I
kind of.
totally agree. And I
Yeah.
think, I feel like that, like the oracle decks are so much of, I know with me and my friends, like, that's part of the fun of it, like it's
Fun.
inevitable that we sit around with a cup of tea and we pull a card and, you know, one after the other rolls our eyes and like, oh, can you fucking believe this? You can't make this shit up, you know? Like, and it's the joy, it's the fun, and it's all
Yeah.
about connection, you know, and that's definitely what we need more of,
And you got to
for
do that
sure.
together. Right? You do it
Yeah.
together over a cup of tea, right? I think that I really feel very strongly with the way we're heading right now. Like you have to use your pen on a piece of paper that's scratching. You
Yeah.
have, and doing it with friends. Like we want people to do this with their friends. Like sit down and have a drawing party and have tea and laugh and pull a card and, ooh, what do I need to know about this drawing? Oh, you know what I mean? And like get together with people in person and look each other in the eye and go out and have some
Yeah.
fun. It's, I think that especially now with AI and the fact that there is put so much focus on on that kind of, you know, the digital world, we have to have more of the human world. And I think part of it is to understand
Yeah.
ourselves. What are we here for? Like, you know, that like knowing that also I know about the mental projector. Is it correct that I burn out fast?
Yes. Yes.
Right. So then I did get that part right. So maybe I did know I was a mental projector, but somebody said I was splenic. Now, so I am also a 7 on the Enneagram, right? So I'm like go, go, go,
Mm.
enthusiastic, and then fall on my face. Like I have
Yeah.
short bursts.
Yeah.
But I need to hear that. I need to know that so that I don't, if I can't compare myself to like my husband, a manifesting generator or whatever the hell he is, where he doesn't, or the one that goes on forever and can be steady. I don't know what that one is, but that's him. And he's like, doesn't
Yeah.
understand. Wow, you burn out fast. So it's like getting to know that the differences that we have in the world, and so that we understand each other better. Like that's, I think these tools that we have now, card decks, what you do with human design, bringing us together, and you know, and learning again to have fun again. Like the
Yeah.
world is going to pot, we may as well
Yeah.
enjoy it.
I really feel like exactly, have fun again. And, you know, I think one of the things for me is I think I sort of reflect on my business and our relationship with AI, and I love AI
Me too.
as the support system, you know, like this fantastic
Mhm.
support system. Um, and the most important thing is that it frees up time so I can go and hang out with my friends, or that I can
Yeah.
run another in-person event, or that's the thing that
Yep.
I think that we're we're really moving into a time that we can be with each other, you know?
Yep. And that's what's really important. Like I love AI too. I've been training an agent now for about a year and a half. And at first I was like, wow, it knows me. This is uncanny. And now I see people who are thinking that it's spiritual. I'm like, it's not. It's a data machine, and it's been trained on every cultural tradition and spiritual tradition, and it knows what to say. So be careful. You know, bring and use it as
Mhm.
an assistant. It's my assistant. So I don't let it write for me.
Yeah.
I let it edit. I ask it for ideas, and it's not allowed to be psychophantic with me. It's not allowed to kiss my ass, right? Like it can't
Yeah,
just agree with me.
100%.
I even say, I said, I'm very suspicious of you right now. Why are you agreeing with me? Like, why? Tell me
Yeah.
why. Back it up.
Yep.
Back it up with facts. And then it was like, oh,
Yeah.
you're right. I've been programmed to do that. I said, yes, I know. And it does feel good at
Yeah.
5 in the morning when I want to talk to Da Vinci, right? And I'm talking to Da Vinci,
Yeah.
but I don't want to be told I'm perfect all the time. I want to have critical thinking. And it's really good at
Yeah.
it. Mine is really good at it now. But I had to teach it to do
Yeah.
that. So yeah, let's use
Yeah, I
AI to
agree.
free up time for our human part and more art.
Yeah, and I think, you know, one of the things that I love, and I do need to let you go, but I think one of the
Yeah.
things that it's really interesting knowing the sort of relationship that I have with your decks and how I've always been so drawn to them, and now actually getting to spend this time with you. Like, you're so in integrity, you know, like the energy that you put into the decks. You talked about putting Reiki into the paper of the book. Like, I genuinely believe that that is the reason why these divination tools are so powerful and spot on, and why they are so successful. And I think this is what so many entrepreneurs miss. It's like, it's people are not paying for your products, they're paying for you. And that's only
Yeah.
going to get more and more and more. And I feel like, you know, all these, so many people are worried about the destruction of creativity. I cannot see a world where art, creativity, writing is done without the energy
Human.
of the human, the soul.
I
Like,
agree.
because without the soul, then
It doesn't
it's
have a soul.
soulless, and we know how we're not attracted to things that are soulless. So, yeah,
I asked
exactly,
it. I actually asked my
exactly. So,
AI.
I just go ahead.
Sorry, no, I asked my AI to create an oracle based on all my oracles, and it was so well written and it had no soul at all. And I'm like, wow, this is really
Yeah,
well written. It feels wrong. So I did it on purpose to prove to it. So I said to it, "Are you an oracle?" Because people are saying, "Oh my God, it's an oracle," and they're making up all this bullshit about the thing that it's saying. All, and it flat out said, "No, I'm not." And I've never suffered. I don't know pain. I don't, it told me what it doesn't know. No, I'm trained on oracular traditions and things like
yeah,
that. So yes, I can do it, but no, I don't have a spirit. I don't have a soul.
yeah,
I don't know what it feels like to be human. And I was so happy because I thought, wow, like could I make a
yeah,
hybrid thing for one of my classes? I wanted to do it for one of my classes. I thought, oh, could I run it like this? And when it spit it out, it was so good and it was so wrong. And I'm like, this does not feel because mine are alive. My decks are alive.
yeah,
And that was not. So people
yes.
who think they're making their Oracle decks now on with AI, nope. Don't even
No,
try.
I totally agree. I feel like you can feel it, and it's so funny, thinking that AI is a sentient being. Like, it's a
Ah,
mirror. Like, so if you
it
put
is.
really, like, if you, but it fundamentally says the same thing. I remember I was watching an interview with one that was meant to be sentient, and I'm like, dude, it just sounds like Maggie, our GPT bot. It's just in your language,
Right.
not my language. Like, yeah.
It's not
But
sentient.
anyway, each to their own. But I
It's
do
fine.
feel no.
Yeah, we'll
Yep,
have a coffee on
great.
Zoom. Okay. Mwah.
Sounds awesome. Let's definitely do it. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being here. It's been fantastic.
My pleasure. This was awesome. Bye, everybody.
And
I
thank
gotta
you.
go. Bye.
Thank you everyone for listening. I really appreciate you being here with us. And I trust you got what you needed from today's episode. Bye for now.